Hey everybody, this is Rev J. Hey, this is actually a Sunday afternoon, not long after the shooting, just a few days after the shooting of Charlie Kirk. I know that it's heavy on a lot of people's hearts, and I wanted to do a little devotional thought. I know I do a devotion each Monday, and I think we're going to push back some of those devotions in John chapter 1 and 2 and 3. We'll push them back so that we can focus a little bit on this. I'm not going to do a devotion on Charlie Kirk's life. I'm just going to use him as an example. Now, Charlie Kirk, some people would say, was a right-wing conservative politician, is what I kept hearing the news media say. I really don't think he was that specifically. I think more than that, he was a defender of truth. Everything he said, he had backed up with evidence, solid evidence. Everything he believed was, something that he could point to in scripture or by experience or some other way that he had solid evidence. And he kept saying, prove me wrong. That was his thing, prove me wrong. This is your position, this is my position, prove me wrong. I believe he was a defender of truth. Now, he had some conservative leanings as far as the way he voted and the people he promoted and stuff like that, but you've got to understand that that has less to do with politics than it does the truth. The truth came first. The truth changed Charlie and shaped his understanding of life. The truth came first, and then he began to use the truth to try to reach people, number one, with the gospel of Jesus Christ, and number two, to show people you don't have to succumb to the hypocrisy or the lies that you're being fed constantly, especially like in colleges and stuff. So let me just kind of walk through something with you, okay? There's a spiritual truth here, using that life as an example, the life of Charlie Kirk. And I could also use the life of the perpetrator of the crime against him. When I read from John chapter 10, verse 10, this is a truth coming from the truth. Jesus is speaking this here. He says, "The thief comes only to steal, kill, and destroy. I came," that is, Jesus came, "that they may have life and have it abundantly." In the beginning, when God created man and woman, God created the heavens and the earth and all that, and then he created man and woman, he told Adam and Eve to go be fruitful and multiply. Multiplication is part of his life that he wants us to have. He wants us to experience life, like all that life has to offer. The thief comes to steal, kill, and destroy that. Well, there was a thief that snuck in there in that garden and caused Eve to trip. She shouldn't have. It was her fault. It was not the thief's fault per se. But she was tripped up and she ate of the fruit, and then the man did too, Adam did too. And ever since then, we've had a sin problem, every one of us, and it's kept us away from God unless we return to God by faith in Jesus Christ. He sent his son to bring us that life. Now, remember, in Genesis, we were told to be fruitful and multiply. Here, Jesus says, "I have come that they may have life and have it abundantly." The enemy that's against God, the one who rebelled against God and turned away from God, he comes to steal, kill, and destroy. But Jesus comes to bring us life abundantly. That word for abundant is a whole lot like multiplication. It's like he's going to give you life that just keeps multiplying. I want you to think about Charlie Kirk for a second. He was a person who multiplied. He shared the truth, and the truth was multiplied. His videos have reached millions upon millions. I honestly only watched him occasionally, once a month, twice a month. I liked his stuff for sure, but I'm not a college kid, so that wasn't my cup of tea per se, but I sure liked him, and I think a lot of what he says and everything is absolutely spot on because it's scriptural, and then he backs it up with some other evidence as well. And so that's great, but I'm good with scriptural. I believe it because I've studied it thoroughly. I've applied it to my life. I've seen it work. Charlie says much the same thing, and now his videos will literally reach millions upon millions. Right now it's reaching millions, but it's going to be tens of millions or hundreds of millions now because of this situation. Jesus came that Charlie's life would be an abundant life, and it was. He had a wife, had love, he had kids, had love, he had friends, had love. He loved people in high places and low places, and was able to reach and teach many people, including maybe you, maybe me. Okay? That's an abundant life. The shooter, on the other hand, came to steal, kill, and destroy. He had nothing that he could say. There's nothing people can say to argue against the truth. They say a lot of stuff, but it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense at all. There's another scripture that says, this is found in John chapter 15. So I was in John 10:10 a second ago. Now I'm in John 15:18. And it says, if the world hates me, know that it has hated me before it hated you. It has hated me before it hated you. Christian, go and share your faith regardless of whether or not the world hates you. This is our call. We are to lovingly share the truth with as many people as possible. Now, I do believe that Charlie tried to share it lovingly. I've watched a lot of his videos. I understand that debates sometimes don't turn into loving type, kumbaya moments, but it was real, and he was loving these people the way that he could. Did it always change somebody's mind there that was debating him? No, not always. Probably, rarely. But there were some people in the crowd who heard this truth, and they compared it to the nonsense they were hearing from the other side, and they said, I think I'm going to stick with the truth. And because of that, Charlie will reap a great reward. Now, here's something else that I want you to know. In 2 Timothy chapter 4, verse 3, it says, for the time is coming when people will not endure sound teaching, but having itching ears, they will accumulate for themselves teachers to suit their own passions, and will turn away from listening to the truth and wander off into myths. Well, there's a lot of myths out there. One of them would be that there's more than two genders. That's a myth. And yet people grab onto it as if it was the greatest thing right now, since sliced bread or something. It's a myth. And almost every person who turns to that lifestyle is depressed. I mean, I've never known any of them that turns to that lifestyle that's happy. They're depressed. Many of them are suicidal. And some of them are now, saying and doing things to hurt people physically. I mean, there is no Christian who's a true follower of Jesus that's going to go try to kill somebody over their beliefs. It's my job, according to the scripture, to love my enemies. It's my job to share the truth in a loving way. It is not my job to hate somebody or hurt somebody. Now you may say, well, this hurts to hear this. That's a different kind of hurt. If we disagree, I should have the right to share my belief just like you do. Now, here's the deal. The scriptures back up my belief. Not just the scriptures, but several thousand years worth of history back up my belief. And the fact of the matter is, there are no men having babies. There are no men nursing babies. I could go on and on. If you are falling for that lie, that is a delusion, and you should leave that delusion. You should turn to Jesus and let him help you live in the truth. That's where I'm going to leave it this week. I'll be praying for you. In the meantime, hit like, share, and subscribe. God bless.